This is so unprecedented. An elite gym with Olympians, Olympic medals, with current elite gymnasts has never, ever had their membership with USA Gymnastics terminated as a gym unless there was a FBI van in front and the FBI are taking evidence in and out of the gym. The American Cup is back with the new LA 2028 mixed team format. We have a preview for you. Stanford joined the 198 club this week in spectacular fashion.
You guys, I was texting Jessica, and I'm interrupting your intro because I had to text Jessica in the middle of it to be like, are you watching this? This is wild. Do you see what's happening?
The most insane, amazing meet. Our listeners asked, should the U.S. be banned from the Olympics for violating the Olympic Charter like Russia did? So we have answers to that, maybe, and answers to tons of your question because it is a feedback episode today. It is March 2nd, 2026, and welcome to the #1 gymnastics podcast in the galaxy. I'm Jessica, and I'm here with Spencer from the Balance Beam Situations. Headlines.
Tell me.
GAGE had their USAG membership terminated. We discussed this at length on College and Cocktails, which is our behind-the-scenes show that we do live every week. I broke the news last week, and then USAG sent the email that they sent to parents. We're going to give you some highlights from that. But I think the most important part about USAG's statement on this is they told me, quote, in terms of club membership status, club membership with USAG is a privilege, not a right. USAG has not offered a path or timeline for reinstatement at this time.
So, AKA, you done.
Very final. Not a suspension. You are terminated. Yeah. So this letter went out to parents on February 25th, and it explained everything in depth. So this is from USA Gymnastics to the GAGE parents, and it said, quote, despite receiving notice and opportunity to comply, GAGE has been alleged to have continued to violate terms of these suspensions. And I'm adding here that we have covered over and over on this show how many times the coaches who are suspended seem to have violated their suspensions, which is no contact, which means you can't be on property, and there's videos of them on property. So back to the quote. As a result, GAGE's membership with USAG has been terminated effective immediately. The important note about the effective immediately is that they did, which they didn't have to do this, give the athletes an extension. And I think they'll probably extend that for whoever's competing at Gymnics, because it's kind of sucks that you give an athlete an assignment and then you're like, just kidding, you can't actually compete in your assignment. So they didn't have to do that.
Famously, that happened to Jordan Chiles.
It did very famously happen to Jordan Chiles, actually. That's a really good point. Do you want to explain what happened? That we broke that news on this show, too.
In detail, no, but I'll briefly that, Jordan Chiles' coach at the time, when she was in Washington, was found to have broken a number of rules at camp. And basically, USAG said, yeah, you can't be Jordan Chiles' coach at this competition. So then she didn't have a coach to go to an international assignment. So then she wasn't able to go, which really sucked for Jordan because she was in this position where she's like, my gymnastics earned it. And the people around me have failed me. And so now I'm being punished because I can't go to this meet.
Yep. And at the one hand, like looking back there, I was so furious. I was like, why can't any of the other USAG coaches, like Valeri was in charge? But now I'm like, God, if that was such a bigger deal to take care of her and make sure she was okay and to find out what was really going on than sending her to this meet. But I feel like if I was that like 15-year-old, 16-year-old, whatever age Jordan, I would be furious, And it's like, well, there are these other people that can do it. And if the Olympics, would you do this? No, you would let someone else coach her, probably. The other really interesting part about this letter is
and this is the letter that USAG sent to the GAGE parents.
Yes, back to present day.
Back to present day. The athlete sent to the parents because we're assuming every gymnast is a minor. And so we have to send a letter to the parents, which I get. It's like almost all I understand. Right. I'm just like, every time I read it, I'm like, so what if you were 18?
18.
And they're like sending a letter to your parents and you're like, I moved out the second I turned 18.
Yeah. Can you read?
Not relevant, just something else I was thinking about.
So as we've covered on the show before, when I talk to attorneys about this, my understanding from them, if you are suspended from all contact, you can't own the gym anymore. So last week, the week before, I showed you the ownership documents of GAGE and that they were still owned by Alfong. So the letter talks about the suspensions, and it says this specifically about ownership.
This is, in USAG's letter, they said GAGE designated Karla Grimes as the new club owner. She was suspended by the Center for SafeSport on February 12th, 2026. GAGE then designated Tiffany Davenport as club owner. She was suspended by the Center for SafeSport on February 18th, 2026.
I'm really interested in why they were suspended and if it's related to the ownership designation, because I looked back at the corporate documents for GAGE, which the website shows when they were updated. And as of the writing of this letter, there was no change of ownership for GAGE. So I don't know if their suspension has to do with something we have no idea about, because one is with the Center for SafeSport and not USA Gymnastics, or if it has to do with something about saying you're the owner, but you're not actually the owner, because none of the corporate documents say that anyone designated you as an owner. So is that some kind of fraud? I'm just posing questions because we don't know, and USAG and SafeSport will not tell us. They never say why until there is a final decision. But it is interesting that is mentioned in connection with their suspensions. But we don't know why they were suspended, but it is very interesting. I just wanted to add one kind of correction that I've seen out there, and I want to make sure we're not perpetuating that. Alfong didn't kill 2 gymnasts. There was a gymnast who was at his gym who broke her neck on a vault, and it was before the days of the collar. The collar was available for purchase like 3 weeks after that accident happened. And the other gymnast that died, Christy Heinrich, it was a judge who encouraged her to change her body type that gave her an eating disorder. So I just want to make those facts clear. And then what we heard from a lot of sources this past weekend is that Alan Armane were at a GAGE meet. And there's also someone that published this it wrote like a blog post about this and said, it's unfair that they couldn't watch their own daughter compete, Alan Armane. But yeah, they can't. If you're suspended from all contact, you can't be at a gymnastics meet. We did go into this extensively and answer a lot more questions on College and Cocktails, which is our behind the scenes show every week. Spencer, can you describe what College and Cocktails, our behind the scenes when it's not college season show is?
Oh, it's when we have full opinion reactions to things. During College and Cocktail season, I will make myself a cocktail. Jessica will make a mocktail. And Jessica will then read some Facebook posts from some parents that make her really upset. And then she's like, okay, you guys, here's what we need to know. Here's what's wrong with everyone's opinions. And let's talk about it. This is what's going on. So yeah, I would say the unfiltered, GymCastic unfiltered is how we can describe that. It's behind the scenes. It's the show of the conversation Jessica and I have for 5 minutes before we hit record, where we're like, can you believe this? That's well, for that. It's that part.
I think that's a good description of it. So it is for Club Gym Nerd members because they support us and support the journalistic work that we do. And it's also very fun. So here is the portion of that show where we talked about the GAGE suspensions because it had just happened. So here's a little sample for you.
That's an unprecedented step, even in cases that maybe not unprecedented, but extremely rare, even in cases where other coaches get SafeSport suspensions. The gym where they coached hasn't been, lost its USAG membership necessarily.
Yeah. Watching the reaction, especially from parents, GAGE parents, about what has happened has made me have to just stop and recognize you're Irish. You have to not have a rage stroke. Stop looking at these comments. This is what I think to myself.
Yeah.
Okay, so number 1, GAGE did not close the gym. Alfong confirmed this yesterday to a news station in Missouri. GAGE is still open, he said. So the GAGE parents are posting that the gym closed. It closed in the middle of workout. Pictures of, kids crying in a circle. GAGE athletes cannot compete in a USA Gymnastics meet if the gym is not a member of USA Gymnastics. So they do need to find new gyms, but The gym, according to Al Fong, is still open. You could still work out there. If they stopped your workout in the middle of workout and told you the gym is closed, I don't know what's happening, but they're saying that it's open. So maybe they did that to give you time to find a new gym. Maybe they fired all of their team coaches because they can't coach at USAG meets anymore. But the gym did not close. So that is a big fact check for everything that's out there. Because if you want hot takes, maybe your mom's TikTok is not the place to get your actual verified news.
I'm getting Jessica a shirt that says your mom's Facebook is not evidence. Which I think is just appropriate for the general situation.
The other thing I'm seeing is like everyone saying, how could they do this to the athletes? USAG gave the athletes an extension. They are letting them compete through March 2nd. And also, your coaches at GAGE have been suspended since December. If you didn't think this could happen when you're supposed to know the SafeSport rules as a parent, too, you saw them breaking the rules. This is why they got suspended. This is all on them. This is not USA Gymnastics' fault. This is not SafeSport's fault. It is 100% Armine and Al's fault for not respecting the rules of their suspension. And that is the people you have paid money to, by the way, these GAGE parents who are complaining about this. They're the ones that broke the rules. None of this had to change. They were still a member gym. The other thing you said about this being unprecedented, this is so unprecedented. An elite gym with Olympians, Olympic medals, with current elite gymnasts has never, ever had their membership with USA Gymnastics terminated as a gym unless there was a fucking FBI van in front and the FBI are taking evidence in and out of the gym. That's the only other time this has happened. Imagine how fucking bad this abuse, the allegations have to be and how bad the violations had to be for them to not only be suspended in Al Fong for 5 years, because USA Gymnastics does not want to do this to the athletes. Clearly, they warned, and we know all this from the letter that USA Gymnastics released to us that laid out every point about why they were terminating GAGE's membership as a gym as a whole. We know that Al and Armine were warned that they were violating the rules of their suspension, as we have been covering since December, flaunting their suspension, being in the gym, doing TV interviews in the gym when they're not allowed to be there. It's their fault that this happened, 100%. And also, where is the compassion for the athletes who suffered and who brought the allegations and had the courage to do that against these coaches? That is extremely important that we recognize that. USA Gymnastics should be lauded for what they did and heralded for what they did for taking the step, because what is a USA Gymnastics membership good for if it doesn't come with some safety and protection for the athletes? What's the point of it even? What are you paying for? You're not just paying for the insurance that comes with when you compete. That's just part of it. I also feel like it's so selfish of Al and Armine to violate these rules and put all these gymnasts, they're in the middle of season. Now they have to find another gym to compete under. They did that. They burned down their own system. All of their gym, you should be mad at Al and Armine. They're the ones that did this. Al and Armine, they also violated rules that they signed up for. They have to agree to the SafeSport rules. If they didn't want to do that, they didn't have to be part of USA Gymnastics or agree to SafeSport. They could compete for some other organization or make their own. That has happened in the past. So I just feel like everyone that's shitting on SafeSport and USAG now, and everyone not giving a shit about a system that was created like SafeSport because of the fucking horrific violence and abuse that happened to a record number of women and girls. I hope that you and your kids never experience anything like what it took to create the system that we have in place now, and that protects you and your child. Because I personally am here for the fuck around and find out era of USA Gymnastics. Finally. Hats off to USA Gymnastics for doing this, for sticking by their own rules, for enforcing their own rules. Like, this is huge for USAG to do this. And also, what's the benefit to USAG?
I mean, is there a lot of, maybe because I'm not on social media, so I don't see it, but is there you're saying the parents are mad at, USAG or SafeSport, but is there a lot of actual the public sentiment, not just like for parents, who cares? But like the public sentiment, I don't think is anti-USAG's move, like the gymnastics community as a whole, right?
Yeah, some gymnasts have also started posting with a hashtag that like SafeSport sucks, but there are a lot of gymnasts
is like, for many reasons that is true, but not for like,
but not this one. Not this in particular. And also, SafeSport didn't shut down your gym. It was your own head coaches were violating the rules that they agreed to over and over and over, and they got warnings. And this is consequences, which is an important lesson to learn. You could turn this into a lesson. But I think like what I like, I've seen a lot of comments from people who know the actual news, that follow us, that know the actual verified facts, that that this is a long time coming and it should have happened years ago, and are defending the decision of USA Gymnastics. And that is very good to see. And also being like, what about the respect for the athletes who were abused? And then those facts were verified by SafeSport, and that led to this suspension. Like, what about them? You don't care about them at all?
The history of gymnastics tells us this is not a flippant decision, because this doesn't happen.
It does not happen.
It should happen a lot more.
Yeah. And like, you see the other thing that I'm seeing out there is the people saying, this happened 30 years ago, which is like, don't parrot the thing that a 70-year-old man told you, who's always done whatever the hell he wanted and doesn't care about any rules. That is, it's not true, first of all. And if you followed the actual news and the verified facts like we give you every week, you would know that there's over 40, let me say that again, 40 allegations with SafeSport against Sao Fong. This wasn't just 30 years ago that this happened. And one of the allegations is him choking a gymnast in the gym. Just because you had a great time with Sally Sue as your coach and you didn't see this doesn't mean it didn't happen. It's so hard for SafeSport to do this. They verified some horrific things. Start by believing. That's what we're supposed to do, right? I just can't. This is so unprecedented. It had to be way worse than any of the facts that we know about. Not like choking someone isn't bad enough. Is there anything that I didn't say that you would like to scream right now, Spencer? Or I can scream for you.
No.
All right, let us know what you guys think. And I also appreciate you guys kindly in the social sphere correcting some of these hot takes and people that don't know what's actually going on. It's been very good to see those. The kind, I don't want to make you defensive, but here are the facts comments. So, anywho,
your mature argumentative style that we struggle with. Attack Dice says, "I've never listened live before. This is thrilling." Yeah,
welcome.
Sometimes you get a big old rant.
Yeah. Sometimes I have to calm myself to sleep. Gymnastics fan 7036
Gymnastics fan says, "Nice to see someone face consequences for abusing children." What I know. What a sad state of affairs that we have to think that's gratifying and remarkable.
If you enjoyed that version of the news and hearing a little bit unfiltered, then you can get more of that at gymcastic.com and by joining Club Gym Nerd. Okay, let's discuss American Cup and what's happening this week.
It's back. Risen from the ashes. American Cup. It's okay. I will say, looking at the American Cup website that they have resurrected, because American Cup is a competition now again. When you look at the old news, because I was looking through the news specifically to try to find details on the format, which we do have, and I will explain, but it was kind of wishy-washy and I wanted to know. And then it goes, at a certain point, we get like, the American Cup is back, buy tickets, and then it's like, Morgan Hurd is American Cup champion. And I'm like, no, that's too, because if the Olympics in 2000 had happened, Morgan Hurd would have been on the team. That was the glory. That was the Morgan's 2020 American Cup championship was the glory days of Morgan Hurd Elite Part 2. And she was world champion 2017, and then she was back, and she was healthy again for a second, we thought, we hoped. No, like, that's not fair. That's triggering. This is triggering.
It is triggering. Speaking of Morgan Hurd, she's a photographer, and you can hire her. Contact her on the Instagrams or her website. But also, we had a giveaway contest for tickets to American Cup, but the person who won works in emergency services and has been assigned to work that day. Hopefully, there will be no calls related to this meet, but cannot attend. So the first person to email us at gymcastic@gmail.com wins 2 tickets to American Cup. But you have to be able to actually go. So you have to like be in Vegas this weekend. But gymcastic@gmail.com. First person, you get the 2 tickets. Okay. So,
I think our biggest lesson from that is that the listeners to the show are heroes.
They are.
They're
right.
always like, oh, I was like, just give me a second. I was curing cancer, but I needed to write in about like beam connections. It's like, I'm sorry, I like saved 4 lives, so I can't go to American Cup. And we're like, how dare you? What are your priorities?
So American Cup is this weekend, March 7th in Vegas, from 6 to 8:30 on Peacock. It's supposed to only last for 2 hours on TV. I believe it will be, or an hour and a half. No, wait, how many hours?
Oh no, it's not
2.5 hours.
No,
sorry,
it's not going to be an hour and a half. The run of competition aim is 2 hours 15. I'm kind of skeptical, but I would love to be proven wrong.
Yeah, it would be. We'll see. The international stream will be on YouTube. I'm very worried this is already too long, but we'll see how the format is because this is supposed to be the LA 28 Olympics new competition that they've added an extra day, which all the gymnasts were like, oh, I can't wait to compete a whole extra day. But the Euros last year was a slightly different format with different events. This is supposed to be the Olympic format with the Olympic events only, which is women, bars beam floor, men, floor P bars. Wrong choice. High bar.
Okay, so starting with what are your 3 men's events if you're limited to 3?
Vault, high bar, floor are the good men's events. They're the most fun to watch. Yeah. P bars is the 4th best one to watch. But yeah. Okay. It is what it is. So, how does this work?
I mean, how long do you have? So the difference between this American Cup and Euros last year, the biggest difference is larger teams. It's actually a mixed team event, not just like mixed pairs, which is kind of what Euros was. So minimum 2 men, 2 women on each team. You can also have 3. Most of the countries have 3. Japan is like, we don't need 3 whole people to do 2 people's jobs.
We can win with 1.
2. We can win with Daiki is going to do all the men's and women's events, and we're going to win. Bye. So 2 compete on each team for each apparatus. My biggest question was, okay, so it's round 1, all 8 teams that are going compete. Is it the kind of situation where the US women say, okay, we're doing bars in this round, and so our 2 athletes are both going to go on bars? That's not the format. That was kind of what I wanted to know. Everyone picks a different event in each round. So it would be for the US, for example, Hesley Rivera goes on beam, Charlie Bullock goes on floor, Danila Lakin goes on high bar, Ewell Moldauer goes on P bars. And that's the US slate for the first round. Different events, and then you total it, and then the top 6 of the 8 teams advance to round 2, and then you do round 2, and then the top 4 of those 6 teams advance to the final, and then you do the final, and you award the champions. So yeah, everyone picks different events. You can't repeat a routine in another round. So if you used up Hesley's beam in round 1, then that's done. She can't do beam again. And you can't use an apparatus more than twice. So you couldn't have like Hesley does beam in round 1, Claire Pease does beam in round 2, Charlie Bullock does beam in round 3. Like you used up your 2 beams, so you need to use each event twice. But that's kind of the format.
I like this. I think this is more exciting way to do it. And also, did you notice in the rules that like you can change out someone for injury at any time? So
for injury or air quotes injury if you need to.
Right. Air quotes injury. So I just feel like if someone's already done, they're on the team to compete on high bar or beam, then they're all done. And
well, it's not like you have an alternate.
No, but
everyone on the team is on the team, so it's not really,
yeah. But I like that it's a little more flexibility that you can do it. It's more like NCAA where you can change the lineup. You just can't use that person again. So yeah,
Yeah, you can't repeat an
strategy.
event, and you have to have, you can't just load up on your one event that you're good at and ignore all the rest of them.
Yeah. That's the strategy of it is like, do you want to make
The
sure you
strategy is the
win,
really interesting thing.
blow it out in the first round so you make sure you advance, or do you wait
Yeah.
till the last round? Because the scores don't carry over.
They don't carry over. They're wiped clean after each round. And so then I'm like, so obviously I was already creating lineups for all the
Yes.
teams while I was like writing our notes down to talk about it. I was like, okay,
Please
so what
tell
will the lineup be? So I'm like, okay, well, if you're the US women, strategy has not been the strong suit, I would say, of the choices made on the US women's team over the last decade or so. A lot of things are better. Strategy is not one of them. Your aim is to win this competition. So you save your two best scores for the last round. Because you don't need to, like, it's the top 6 of 8 advance out of the first round. US and China, Japan, like, you're gonna advance. Like, you would have to have a meltdown. So use the bad ones in round 1. You gotta save Charlie Bullock's bars, 14-4 at Winter Cup, and something of Hesley's. Her routines could all score over 14. I would say floor because it's less risky than beam, and also, like, end the meet on floor. Fun. Ta-da. Performance. Vegas. Is that part of this? Are we doing trying to perform? Are we doing trying to entertain?
Please.
I
hope.
So I would have save Charlie Bullock's bars and Hesley Rivera's floor for the last one. Round 1, I would do like something of like Hesley's beam, Charlie Bullock's floor round 1, and then Hesley on bars, Claire Pease on beam in round 2, and then Charlie Bullock bars, Hesley Rivera floor in round 2. So you've got 2 bars, 2 beams, 2 floors. No one's repeating any event. I think you've checked all the boxes. That's my lineup. But if any other countries are interested in what they should do, I'd be happy to tell them what their lineup should be.
It's also interesting that this is you have to compete one men's event, one women's event, one men's event, one women's event.
For each individual round, yeah.
For each round. So I like that too, that it's back to back. It's not like everybody go to, beam and do all the beam routines. It should be like this, alternating.
Yeah, and hopefully, that is the thing, but I'll have a lot of questions after the meet that we'll have to talk about, like, how did the run of meet go? Was it weird? Were there lags? Was it quick? Because it's you could do this in a way that's really exciting, and you could do this in a way that's so long and boring and really drags. And so I think the run of meet has to be really a focus of this and like run like clockwork, because things could get chaotic and difficult to follow very easily.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, also I want to mention Nastia Cup is happening this same weekend. Nastia Cup.
Here's the thing about what USAG could do to market, and Nastia could do to market this more, because in the footballs, they have their, like, these are the high school footballers who are the ones, and they're going to be the big ones in college, and everybody loses their mind. Like, that's what the Nastia Lucan Cup is. It's these are going to be the best gymnasts in college gymnastics after they finish, like, taking AP bio or whatever. Like, finish your tests and then go to college, or just be Kamara Williams and be like, high school's dumb. I want to be at Georgia. Give me a 10. You could do that too. But like next year, they're going to be the stars of college gymnastics. Like, these are the big high schoolers. And I feel like if you hyped that some more.
Yes. It's like that thing that Ilya and Shane go to and they get draft picked.
Ooh.
For
I didn't realize we had hit over 20 minutes of the episode, so Jessica's allowed to start talking about heated rivalry again. You got through 20 minutes.
Oh my God. SNL. Did you watch Saturday Night Live with Connor Story?
Not. I have not watched Saturday Night Live live in,
oh my God,
20 years.
It's basically the president of WeHo was hosting Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
You should have gone to High Tops and watched this.
Yeah, I know.
I am disappointed. All right. Well, that's just the usual. I'm used to it. I'm used to it with you. Okay. So, all right.
Send me a clip. Send me a quick YouTube clip. I'll watch it.
Okay. The stripper one. I laughed out loud so hard. I would have spit a drink out of my mouth if I had one in my mouth. Anyway. So, now
we're distracted because you started talking about heated rivalry again.
I also went to see Pillion. Sobbing, crying, heartbreaking, but also funny, but sobbing. Anyway, that's what I have to say about that. Found all the bears in Orange County, apparently, because it was me and Rima and all the bears in town. Okay, so anyway, you guys, let's focus. I will be in Vegas for the American Cup. And I will be covering it. So if there's any questions you want to ask, if there's anything you want us to cover, send us an email, gymcastic@gmail.com, and I will do my absolute best to deliver. So here's who you need to watch, because the royalty of Japan is gracing us.
Yeah.
This is amazing. The talent, especially from Japan and China, insane, who we're getting here.
Well, that is something I like. This should not be like the days of Scam American Cup where the US just romped to like doing whatever they want. Like, you're gonna have to show up because you've got some quality from some of the other teams that are gonna challenge you.
Yeah. Hashimoto Daiki of Japan.
Yes.
The king.
Daiki, ever heard of him?
Four-time Olympic medalist.
Yeah. So, as we said, Japan is only sending 2, Hashimoto and Tsunagai for the men, and Kishi and Nakamura for the women. But it's a good team. Like, if they're comfortable, like, I'll do all the events, I don't care. That's a very compelling team. Nakamura, one of our favorites, as we talk about. We don't know what bars she's ready to do at this point of the season or feels is most strategic, but I would say it's time for the def. Bring out the def. You're good at it. You're comfortable with it.
Do it.
Let's do all of it. Let's go show some people what some bars is like. That would be very exciting. China. I want to talk about China because if you're not like way up on the Chinese junior scene, which, you know, everyone should be, because you'll see like the best beam routines you'll ever know. Ke Chen of China is making her senior debut at this American Cup. She is the 2020 last year's Chinese junior national all-around champion, and in the fall won the national games all-around when everyone was eligible, and she won the all-around and won the beam. The example of how the leaps should be a double stag ring to set you free in this beam routine. It's so good. It's so good.
Boganskaya reposted that. That's all you need to know about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's what Pamchenkova would put in the Bible of gymnastics beam routines and what they're supposed to look like. You're welcome. That's how good it is.
Yes, it's that good. I'm very excited about it. That is put 5 gold stars next to this routine of the American Cup that I'm very excited for. And yes, I am aware that world beam champion Zheng Qingying is also on China's team. So, you know, that's also a good one. Also an important one to watch. Yeah, China has brought the beamers. They also don't have to vault. So they're like, I love this meet. The Chinese women are like, you know what's a great format? Mixed American Cup, where you could just do bars, beam, and floor, and you don't even have to bother with stupid vault.
Yes. I'm very excited that Abby Martin, our favorite giggler in chief, oh my God, I can't believe the most emotions. You never have to guess how Abby Martin is feeling because her face will tell you immediately. And she was just at Worlds. One of the up and comers, super excited to watch her. Ruby Stacey's also going to be there from Great Britain. World bronze on floor, by the way. Abby Martin.
Yeah. Yes, they did deny us. You know, our request was Ruby Evans and Jake Jarman reunited, the stars of the Euros mixed team event. They are not here, but we'll allow it.
Yeah,
for Abby Martin. And Sol Scott is on the Great Britain men's team, and I enjoy watching him a lot.
Mexico, you will be so happy to know that our Lord and Savior Natalia Escalera, who has a Bad Bunny routine because her husband is from Puerto Rico and she can actually dance and she is a delight, team artistry, will be present at this competition.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's a good field. I mean, I wish Italy were going to be there. I wish. Why is Canada? It's right there. Why are you not going to be?
Some teams, I'm not going to say this is what happened with Canada or any of the other teams, but some teams, the men's team was all ready to go and the women were like, no. Or the women were ready to go and the men were like, no, this isn't in our plan. So this is the thing. World peace happens when men and women agree to work together. And this is why everyone should be here. My greatest
Alba Petisco also, just because as we're moving on and we got rid of the graphic, I didn't mention Alba Petisco and like Toe Point. Come on.
Yes. Oh, Alba Petisco. I am really excited to see. This is like also a test event for TV and for the Olympics. It's like the perfect gymnastics meet is only an hour and a half long. So can they take this 2.5 hour broadcast?
This is not going to be an hour and a half long.
I know. Can they take this 2.5 hour broadcast and make it into something that's so exciting and fast, and you talk strategy the whole time and give backstory and all of that, that you're engaged the whole time, and we see every single routine? I expect to see every single routine, because
so rounds 1 and 2 are 2 routines at a time. So you could do split screen, but there are going to be 2 routines at a time to try to get it done a little bit faster.
Yeah, I want to see every routine. If it's 2.5 hours, I want to see every routine.
But are you comfortable? Like, if you're watching on TV, is split screen, here we have 2, there's a men's routine and a women's routine going simultaneously. Is that sufficient for you? Or are you like, that's too distracting, I can't watch 2 routines at one time, I need one, and I need them to go one at a time?
No, it's fine for me if it's men's and women's, because normally
you don't watch the men's one.
Well, if it's P bars, I mean, I don't want to miss the men's, but if it's P bars, I can miss P bars. So, but I'm really interested to hear all of the fans' feedback after this, and the gymnasts, to see, like, were you tired? Was this too slow? Was this too fast? Did you get enough time? Like, what was the pace like? Did you have enough time to strategize? And see what comes of this before now in the Olympics, like how they're going to do it. So yeah,
I think also for watching it, the ability to communicate, like, I think they need to, NBC doesn't do the full like ESPN score tower, but you need something like that to be able to follow, like, okay, how many routines has this team done in this round and what score do they need? Like, is it going to be clear what the run of competition is? Like, who's winning, who still has to go, what do they need, who's ahead, how many teams advance out of this round, are you on the bubble, are you going to advance? I think that's challenging but necessary to keep track of what's actually going on.
And that's what I'm really interested in to see so podium training is, for me, like, and the one thing, it's a dream, because it's like 6 hours of gymnastics that I get to watch.
Yeah.
But I'm interested to see what NBC does with it, because for me, I want to know what everyone's start value is. So, and like what they've been getting on average.
D scores in elite.
Who has the biggest D? This is what happens when you're in NCAA season, and then
I know they get you with start value, and then you sound like you just time traveled from 1992 and haven't heard of like the current elite code. I know.
So who has that? Like, before the next team goes, I want to know, like, obviously Daiki. Okay, he has the highest D score on the world, or his average score on this is blah blah blah. So he's capable of this. They need blah 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 to advance to the next round, et cetera, et cetera. So those are the kind of, like, after going to that basketball game, the pro basketball game, and seeing all the stats they had, I'm like, these are the stats.
Never indulge in sports that have more money than gymnastics, because then you start getting jealous.
I'm like, this is the Olympic arena. I see all these stats. I want the same stats for gymnastics. Yeah, our live broadcast from American Cup is tentative, depending on how fast I can get from A to B and what happens with the Stanford meet, because College and Cocktails, the show that we do every week for our Club Gym Nerds, this week, obviously, we are covering UCLA at Stanford. So this is the 2 bronze medalists on floor at Paris. The
2 victimized by the IOC and FIG gymnasts.
Yes. Yeah. We'll get the chance to show the world that they are bigger than the things that happen to them, and world peace is the message. And Stanford is on a tear right now. They're doing so freaking good. I'm so excited for this. So this is going to be on ESPN, and basically it starts at 2 Pacific, so it would end in time for us to hopefully do a College and Cocktails before a warm-up start for American Cup. So that's our tentative plan.
On the ESPN platforms of online streaming, the ACC Network Plus. So I don't want people to turn on ESPN on the television and think, where is the UCLA Stanford meet? Because it's not on television.
In the
no
show
one
notes,
understands anything. No one gets anything. This is you're gonna not put this meet on TV.
The dumbest thing ever.
you could have created from this.
The amount of world peace and important moments you can invoke to using this for a bigger message of nothing can take away the first all-black podium in gymnastics at an Olympics moment that you can use for this meet. And you can do all of that without re-traumatizing the athletes. These two things are possible at once. So anyway, that's the plan. 4-ish probably. Other things that we have for Club Gym Nerd members. We have this weekly Q&A podcast that we do. We also have the extended interviews, discounts. You can commission your own segment. Also, we have a podcast tour. I'm calling it a tour now, where we do 4 podcasts live in a theater. And so you can get a season pass. You can join the club at gymcastic.com, and it also makes a great gift. What else do we have for the listeners?
We have lots of games, like our fantasy league, which is very exciting, even when you're me and you thought you were going to maybe win this week, and then you ended up in 10th, which is great. We're very happy with 10th, but I thought maybe I was going to win this week. So that happens. We also have games, GymCastic games, like Gymdle and crosswords and news quizzes, and ahead of the curve, once again, because on today's New York Times connections, there was a gymnastics connection. Because someone's like, "Oh, GymCastic is doing games.
They have to compete.
We gotta copy them.
They're worried.
Follow."
We also have merch, new designs all the time, and everything is at gymcastic.com. Also, this is the last call for the Cecile and Levi live show tickets. Next up, it's time for feedback. Send us your questions.
Castic@gmail.com.
And let's start with the first one. Should the US be banned like Russia?
Oh, okay. So we're starting big.
Chill. Super chill. Big. No pressure.
If Russia, this is from Elisa, if Russia was banned from the Olympics for invading Ukraine during the Olympics, wasn't the US bombing Iran the same thing? Is Simone going to be able to come back to compete in LA? Or should we cancel everything and throw ourselves into the pit filled with pain of a nation despair? I mean, first of all, if you haven't already thrown yourself into a pit full of pain of a nation despair, I'm impressed by you. Give me the name of your pharmacist.
Okay. This is a really interesting question, and I had to do some research for this one because, okay, so let's go through first.
Well, okay, are we having the conversation of does the U.S. deserve to be banned from the Olympics in the fake world that doesn't exist, or will the U.S. be banned from the Olympics in the real world that does exist?
We can give the fake world and the real world answer. Okay. So what's your fake world answer?
The fake world is obviously yes, and that's not new.
Duh. Should have been a long time ago. Let's start with everything that happened in the 60s and 70s. In the real world, let's review what happened with Russia. So Russia violated the Olympic truce, which begins 7 days before the Olympics start and ends 7 days after the Paralympics.
Mm-hmm.
This was a violation. If that's all that counted, the bombing of Iran falls into this window. Now, is it also party time hooray? The Ayatollah is gone. Yes. Can you have two feelings at the same time? That, like, it's wrong to bomb a girls' school, but also, yay, this guy who's killed how many people? It just 20,000 Iranians have been murdered by this guy just in the last couple months? Yes. Just stating that. Okay, but that wasn't enough to ban Russia. Back to why Russia was banned. They also, the second part of this is they violated the Olympic Charter. So Russia absorbed sports organizations in occupied Ukrainian regions. So they violated the independence and territorial integrity of Ukraine's Olympic Committee. And this is the part member Steve Butcher explained to us. It's not just being banned for invading and bombing things. Otherwise, obviously, the U.S. would be out a long time ago. You have to be trying to take a flag away. And that is what they did with this taking over. So it's did not respect the Olympic Charter autonomy, interfered with another country's NOCs, and they didn't respect the territorial jurisdiction. Those are all the things that they did. It's bombs alone are not enough, it turns out, to violate the Olympic rules and the truce. So with that in mind, it remains to be seen what happens next, I would say. I mean, with 2 years to give the Olympics to another country.
Yeah.
That would
still a long time. Much more pressing is the World Cup that's happening in the United States in a few months that Iran has qualified for.
And they're trying to like move games out of Mexico.
Yeah.
Now,
I mean,
because of,
yes.
yeah, this weekend, a lot of things happened. But the Epstein files still exist, it turns out, even when you bomb a bunch of other countries. The thing that happened today that's interesting is that the Pentagon refuted what the White House said about why they bombed Iran. So the White House said in a statement that there was an imminent threat of attack from Iran, and so that justified the attack. The Pentagon said there was no imminent threat of attack. So a little clarification, because I feel like if you're defending yourself, defense is something that you can use to justify yourself to the IOC.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so do we think the US is going to be banned like Russia? No.
No.
That is our answer. Yeah.
Because of money.
Continue, Spencer.
Oh, I don't need to continue. That's the statement. Because of money. That's the end of the thought.
Because of oil, and there's no way to move an Olympics?
The reason is rich people don't like to lose money, so they're not going to do anything to the United States, because, like, companies are based there, like McDonald's.
McDonald's. And Coke. The biggest Olympic.
Why is the U.S. never going to be stripped of the Olympics? Because of McDonald's and Coke.
So, Alyssa, that's our in-depth answer. The bronze medal. Make bars or floor tougher?
Ooh, okay. Bonnie says, been a member for years. Thanks a million for all you do. 1, the bronze medal situation. I wanted to mention something that's barely been talked about regarding the time period and overall process for putting in an inquiry. I know they say they are making changes now, so we'll see if that addresses this, but I'm going to focus on the way it was in 2024 and prior. So with that said, why is there no consideration for a coach who might have a mobility disability or injury or such? The video we've seen on the sidelines at the end of the floor final and other times during the Olympics, there were a lot of people in relatively close quarters, to the point where Cecile, or any coach in that situation, had to hustle over to wherever the inquiry official was, dodge athletes, coaches, camera people, plus whoever else, and then had to be tall enough and loud enough to be noticed by the official. I'm so glad that most Olympic gymnastics coaches seem to have good health and ability to hustle if needed, but I don't think that's a stated prerequisite to be a coach on the floor, nor should it be. What if one of those camera people tripped someone's coach during qualifications, and they come to coach their gymnast in the final and they need to put in an inquiry, but they can't hobble over to the inquiry official fast enough once they consult with the gymnast, etc.? To be fair to coaches who aren't able to be as fast moving due to whatever condition, and to ensure that everyone has direct access so this can never happen again, regardless of the coach's abilities, I think there needs to be some sideline regulation so that the gymnast who just went and their coach have a beeline to or are in the same space as the official in charge of inquiries, who can hold a tablet to log the inquiry or computer or whatever. You shouldn't have to exert yourself to get that official's attention and just hopes and prayers they will notice you in time. It's totally absurd, and yet another aspect of this situation that FIG, World Gymnastics, should find utterly embarrassing because it is completely preventable.
Let's address this before we get into the second half. Yeah. I love this point, and now that should be fixed with the whole tablet situation, but there have been head coaches who are in a chair who have coached national team. Remember the 2003 era, 2004 Olympics? The head coach of Brazil, the whole team was in like a bus accident. I feel like Hipolito's was also in the accident. Some people died, but this coach was, was in a chair after. But I never saw her on the floor. And I always wondered if it's because the accessibility issues were part of it. But there's also a judge from China who I remember talking about this at Stuttgart Worlds, I think, who, when the judges would go for their breaks, like, she would just sit at the judges table the whole time. And I was just like, wait, do you need help to like go get food, to go to the bathroom? Like, why are you staying here the entire time where everyone else is taking a break? It worried me that she was doing it because she didn't want to draw attention to the fact that she couldn't. I should want to ask for help because it was weird.
Things weren't accessible enough that it was just too much of a pain to try to get out of the arena and then back in and then out of the arena and back in. So it's like, I'm just going to stay here.
Yeah, which is one of the things about being in Europe. I love, like, Europe is like, it's beautiful and like it's old stuff and cobblestones and it's beautiful to walk around. but there's so much that's not accessible, and they don't have an ADA law that applies like we do here that applies to, 1,000-year-old
Time of
building.
recording.
Right. At the time, like maybe they do have now, whatever, but
I'm saying us, more like us. We still have that at time of recording.
Yes. For now. Yeah. Okay. That's another thing we're talking about. Anyway, I've been thinking about this a lot.
Sorry.
I've been thinking about this a lot with
Spencer really needs to stop getting us on political tangents that don't have anything
to
do
God.
with gymnastics. It's
Spencer.
my worst thing. I really need to stop.
All things political.
Everything has something to do with gymnastics. Yeah.
Everything is gymnastics, and everything political touches us. So, that is a really good point. And I was also talking to someone this weekend about why aren't you doing commentary? Why aren't you coaching? And like part of it was like how much of a pain in the ass it is for accessibility, and that you have to pay to bring someone else with you. And it is a barrier. So yeah, hopefully that will be fixed, and we'll not see that. Okay. Second part of this letter.
2. I think NCAA bars and floor need additional requirements to get to a 10 start value. These 2-pass routines on floor often mean gymnasts who excel at tumbling spend less time tumbling, the thing that makes them exciting to watch, and more time posing to music not exciting to watch. How about allowing 2-pass routines, but if that's what you do, you have more requirements for other skills you need to make up for it. But my preference would be that everyone needs 3 passes. Also, I think everyone should have to do some kind of spin on floor. Why? Because I want to add another requirement that isn't really hard on the body, but requires staying in the game mentally. Plus, like, how is that worse than posy pose for 30 seconds straight? For bars, there are too many similar routines right now, and I think there needs to be an adjustment to make it a little harder. For example, if you don't do a single bar release, then you aren't allowed to stand on the low bar to get to the high bar. Or even better, standing on the low bar to get back to the high bar automatically makes your start value at 9.9. Please, Jessica, give Obi some scratches, and Spencer, please give your sister's kitty some scratches, also because it's really all about the cats. Keep up the great work.
Okay, wait, one big update, because I was wondering about this morning. It is that I don't know if you guys know that Simone was going back to the Middle East situation. Simone was supposed to go to this Forbes thing in a couple days, and I was like, and I think Allie too, and I was like, hopefully they're not going now. So now it has been postponed. So Simone will be safe. Chiles, sorry, not Allie. Which is crazy.
Chiles, not Allie Race.
You're flying to Abu Dhabi in the middle of NCAA season? What? Okay, back to this letter. I think there already is. If you only do a 2-pass floor routine, you basically do have more requirements because you have to make up your start value in other ways that aren't tumbling.
But yes, you do. There are specific requirements for a 2-pass routine, but my argument is that I don't think they're stringent enough. And weren't you getting mad about that like 2 weeks ago when you were like, this routine should get it up to level deduction? No way that's hard enough.
Yeah.
With like a back 1.5 to front lay.
Yes.
But I think you said it was too piked to get layout credit.
Yes.
Like if you do a double back and a back 1.5 to front lay, you felt like that was insufficient, which I think is kind of the point of the question as well. You want some more requirements?
I think in NCAA, you should not get credit if it's not, you have deductions on a credit skill, like it's a switch half and you don't split or half, you don't get credit as a switch half. Like that's my problem basically. Like if you are doing it's not a layout full, but has a pike in it, any pike, it's not credited. You don't get credit.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Yeah, that's not gonna
Or
happen.
it can be like a handstand on bars. Like you have 5 degrees to work with.
Oh, did you see one of my favorite things this week in NCAA was the SEC Network was doing their protractor of the handstand, but the handstand that was definitely short, definitely a deduction.
Yes.
The protractor didn't start until like 10 degrees. And then they were like, oh, looks like it's within 10 degrees. And I'm like, everything's within 10 degrees if you don't start right on top of the bar.
Yep, I did see that. And I was like, the commentators are just going by the numbers and not their eyeballs. Yeah. I mean, I love the protractor, but sometimes
I love
you
the
have
protractor,
to
but you got to
start it vertical.
Talking about gaslighting the viewers, I was like, you got to start it actually vertically, and then maybe we'll see what we're doing there. In general, I support the idea of, as I've said before on the show, other events following vault's lead, where if you do your Yurchenko full, great job. Do a beautiful Yurchenko full, and if you have a beautiful one, it should be worth it to do and score better than a tucky 1.5 that you just kind of got around. But that's still a 995 start, and we should do that on the other events too. Like the thing you're doing now, if you're not going above and beyond and doing like way more difficulty than the other people do, that should be the 995 routine. And then you do a little bit more to a 10. I'm also coming around to, like, my general thought about codes, both elite and NCAA, is that when the requirements are too specific, like if you say, okay, you can do a 2-pass routine, but it has to have this, and this, you end up just getting everyone doing the exact same routine. So the single solution, that's the easiest way to fulfill that. So I like a broader thing that not necessarily saying you can't do a 2-pass routine, but just in some way you need to have 2D elements in your routine. Is that too much to ask?
Yeah.
Or, you're fulfilling like 3 of your, if you need 6/10 of bonus to start from a 10-0, 3 have to come from skill value bonus and 3 have to come from connection. So you're showing, or, you need to make sure you have acro element skill value bonus, dance element skill value bonus, acro element connection bonus, dance element connection bonus. So you're showing like, a variety of different abilities, that kind of thing, but make it fairly broad in terms of your requirements so that you don't get, let's all do, everyone's doing a Maloney to pack. And then you change your rule to say, oh, well, the Maloney to pack isn't, we're going to say that's worth 1/10 less in bonus than it used to be because everyone's doing it. We don't want everyone to do it. And then you just end up just rules upon rules upon rules upon rules. And then if you just broaden that, you give people more solutions. So I'm in favor of, like, yes, you can do a 2-pass routine, but let's say you have to do more in the dance than you do now. Or a spin, like Bonnie's idea. You have to do a double backspin. As like you have to, if you're going to do 2 passes, you have to also submit a backspin.
Love a backspin.
You have to do a butterfly.
Oh, don't tease me with the butterflies. Okay, next letter. I thought about writing you.
Kyle says, I have considered writing to you all so many times over the last 1.5 years. I discovered the podcast just prior to the Paris Olympics. I thought about writing when, for the first and only time last year, I got a 198 in fantasy. Shout out to my fantasy team. Stick It was my gay awakening. You're not the only one. I thought about telling you that the joy I got from your show got me through a breakup and a cross-country move. I thought about telling you that I flew from San Francisco to LA for 12 hours total just to see Jordan Chiles perform. I thought about writing to you when my dad found himself on the same flight as Stanford and unknowingly spoke to Anna Barbosu. I thought about letting you know that because of your show, I went to adult gymnastics camp in New Hampshire and stayed with a family friend who also happens to be the first ever female district judge of New Hampshire, who has been protecting the state of New Hampshire, judicially speaking, from the current administration. And today I wanted to share that I called my representative, Valerie Fauci in North Carolina, after listening to the resistance section this morning. I've used 5 calls before, but this morning I actually spoke to a real person and got to thank them for what they're doing. Fauci is, of course, a Democrat, so we align on most things related to ICE. But last week I called my Republican representatives, and Senator Budd of North Carolina was actually one of the few Republicans who voted down the 6-bill government funding package just a few days ago. Thank you for striking the balance of being a place of solace in the world of media, but also not ignoring what is happening. P.S. I'm a 31-year-old queer social worker living in North Carolina, and I'm the only gym nerd I know. I'd love to connect with other Triangle area gym nerds.
Oh, they definitely exist. I love this letter. Thank you so much. Thank you for being a social worker. As a person with a mother who's a social worker, that's such a hard job. Yeah, if you guys are like, wait, what? Resistance section? 5 calls? What are you talking about? We have a resistance section of the behind the scenes college and cocktail show. And there's also a link in the show notes where you can find resources like the 5 calls app, which makes it really easy to contact your representatives. And Resist Bot, which I use a lot. Resist BOT bot. You can just text your feelings. Spit take front attitudes. Level 10 to NCAA teen routine construction.
Megan says, I almost spit my coffee out laughing when you were discussing front attitude turns on the big show this week. Jessica said they're dumb, to which my ballet brain of 20 plus years said out loud, not in ballet, to
Correct.
which Spencer quickly followed up with, not in ballet, we don't want letters. My question, thank you. Yes, thank you. My question is regarding gymnasts going into NCAA from level 10 or elite, and how much or how little do they keep any of their previous routines? Every time I watch a Georgia meet, the commentators always mention how Kamara Williams only joined the team in December. From December to the NCAA season seems like a very short amount of time not only construct routines, but also have enough reps to be able to compete them. Did Kamara keep any of her previous routines to help expedite the process, or is she just that good? Love the show. Thank you for all you do. I picked up figure skating 3 years ago at the ripe old age of 30. As you always remind us when talking about adult gymnastics, you're never too old to return to a sport or pick up a new one. That's how I felt when I started skating, and we need to keep saying it louder for the people in the back. It's not too late.
Yes, it's never too late. Do what you love. I've been trying to do a lot of that. So I took that bungee class, which was so fun. And now I'm just obsessed. I just want it in my house. And then I want to set it a little higher so I can just backflip all over the place. Like it's easy. Woo! Just backflip all over the, I mean, I want my own toddler. Yeah. You know, toddlers have those little chairs they run around in.
Yeah, you want that.
Adult size in the living room.
Yeah.
I would get so much exercise in. You know,
what we need is like your full plan for your unlimited finances compound. What would it have?
Yes. Oh my God, should we do that we should do that on one of our,
because like you've got a bungee thing, or do you have a full like gym with pits?
Yes. Oh, there's a whole gymnastics and wrestling barn included.
Yeah.
It's a barn. Yeah. But honestly, like if I had my druthers, although it is, you know, I am in love and it is worth making sacrifices when you are madly in love. I would have monkey bars up and down the stairs, climbing things on the walls. The house would just look like a jungle gym. But someone wants, you know, the living room to look nice. So
that's dumb.
That's the worst. And like we could have it in my
This is why fact checker can never leave for too long, because he might come back and this like the living room's a pit now. And you're like, what?
Crawl across it to get anywhere. Yeah.
It's like if you can't do a front tuck into to watch TV, then you don't deserve to watch TV.
Exactly.
Welcome to house rules.
Okay. Did Kamara Williams have to change things? She didn't have to change a lot.
Kamara Williams was an elite also.
Yeah, she was.
A level 10. So when you are, the code is, you know, allegedly the same between level 10 and NCAA. The evaluations are different, but there's, you know, and there are exceptions, yada, yada, yada. But the overarching rules are the same. So you shouldn't have, if you have a 10-0 start as a level 10, you're probably going to have a 10-0 start with the same routine in NCAA. And when you're elite, like Kamara Williams has way more skills than she needs for her college routines. So the process is not learning new skills. It's let's pare these down into the college routine that's going to score the best for you, because you have, you know, Kamara has other passes that are very valuable that she could do on floor. And it's like, what are we going to do that you can hit cleanly and consistently every time without putting too much pressure on your body? And that's also going to maybe get a 10. That process, it's more that process doesn't necessarily take too long. And also, even if you haven't shown up, if you've signed and like the recruiting process is done, you're in contact with your coaches and they can be like, hey, let's talk about what your routine might be, even though you're still training at home before you get here.
Which is definitely what happened. Jesus Beam, showgirl floor.
Casey says, I went to see the Kentucky-Georgia meet on Friday night and got a little seat upgrade next to my adult gymnastics friend and longtime GymCastic friend, Ryan. Shout out. I drugged my very tall, non-sporty, non-gymnastics friend, David, along, and he had a fun perspective of the meet. The first 3, maybe 4 beam workers for Kentucky play Christian-themed music while they compete. Ryan called it Jesus Beam. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's correct.
David knew every song and mouthed along. He had been deeply involved in churches, mixing the music and directing the weekly productions. Then Kentucky went to floor, and David was a little shocked that the same women that had just performed to Christian music on beam slinked and slithered on the floor like showgirls. He said in his very sappy accent, well, this is quite a juxtaposition. It made me smile. Missed the Lily Smith injury, and I was really disappointed not to be able to see her compete, but we did get a lot of great gymnastics from both teams. No shade intended to the women on UK's team for their Christian music selections. It was just funny to see a non-gym nerd's reaction. Peace, love, and toe point.
I think this is very interesting because Jesus was very sex positive, right? Wasn't he like best friends with a hooker? And he was definitely friends with, as my Nana called them, the working girls are so nice because they used to sit next to each other on the corner while they ate at their lunch break from the bomb making factory during World War II. Yeah, right? So I think those things go together perfectly. Jesus beam and showgirl floor. This all makes sense to me.
They always have in college gymnastics.
That's for sure. Cranes to France.
Andrea says, it will be interesting to see if the Crane sisters move to France as more than temporary. Without a European passport, the visa process to live in France takes time and needs to be done outside of France, making a quick move very difficult. Or have they been planning this for a while? Also to note, homeschooling in France is difficult. There are only certain circumstances that it is allowed, so if the move was long-term, they would need to enroll in the French school system and would be expected to attend school, especially as they are in a club environment rather than one of the regional centers for elite athletes. From secondary school to school timetables can be adjusted for athletes to have extra time off. Some schools have a sport class where the timetable is adjusted so that they have Wednesdays off school and another afternoon. On another note, my 8-year-old son is just about to enroll in a ski jumping club. We are lucky enough to have the ski jumping facility that was used for the 1992 Winter Olympics and will be again for the 2030 Olympics. 3 minutes from our house. Help me. All Winter Olympic sports are dangerous. Signed, a Brit living in France.
Get
yes,
those.
All Winter Olympics are too scary.
All too scary. Get him one of those Japanese old people falling over parachutes, like the ski racers wear. What are those called?
Then he's sure not to be made fun of.
He'll be cool like the racers, an airbag. It's a wearable airbag. I don't see why little kids shouldn't wear that. But also when you start ski jumping, I think you start really small and then when you do it bigger, you do it into water or airbags. Not that you can't get a concussion from water and airbags too, by the way. But yeah, he doesn't have to learn flips. He can just learn to jump safely. Like in gymnastics, you don't have to be an elite. You could just learn how to fall over. But yeah, there is a rumor that the Cranes have moved to France and they are training with Nemours' former coaches. And I wonder if the Crane parents or the Cranes have read her book that came out. The Cranes are also from Idaho, originally, so maybe it's not a big deal that they're moving. And also, isn't every girl's dream to move to France? But yeah, the laws about homeschooling is in some countries illegal. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in France. Britt, I'm so happy for you that you're living there. Yeah. Also, that's a rumor, unconfirmed. And their current USA Gymnastics membership still says GAGE. Mm-hmm. We need mic'd up Ashley.
Sophie says, make it your bitch. Quote, Ashley Johnson to Gabby Ladney before beam. Probably my favorite moment of the whole season. She needs to be mic'd up every meet. Alabama needs a make it your bitch merch. Can Ashley Johnson be a guest on the podcast? I need to know more about her.
Oh my God, yes. I love her. She's a genius. And also, I remember the first time I met her when she was like, I don't know, 15 or 16, like, I don't know. And the very first thing was she told me about the story about, I was like, how was World? And she told me the story about Sacramone and Isabella Severino, like almost getting into a fight on the dance floor and during
She was like, well, let me tell you what happened.
I was like, oh, you were my people. So yeah, this is like one of the things about Alabama that we've loved in the new era of Alabama is like the sportification of like that it is okay for them to be unapologetically competitive and normal. They don't have to be the Southern Belle persona of old, puffy sleeves. Never forget.
But I do think they need like every season at least one like Sarah Patterson style night.
They do.
Like, that's a meet theme you need.
I know. Remember we talked about that, the dress up like Sarah Patterson in the 80s meet?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, like Cecile and Ashley need to get together and do a Sarah and Suzanne costume meet.
Yes. Like, remember Eastern Michigan?
Suzanne would totally be like, Cecile, I have heels for you.
Yes.
Do you want some gold emblazoned heels? Because I have 19 pairs. What do you need?
Here are all my dresses that look like I was in a prom, but I was a coach. I was in a John Hughes prom movie in the 80s, but here they are. Oh, love it. Also, this is genius. Why haven't they done this yet? Okay. Would it be could you concentrate though if Justin Spring was wearing a 1980s like
Prom dress?
prom dress?
Could you
It would
think
help
if
me.
you asked nicely enough, you could convince Justin Spring to put on a prom dress?
Justin
Do you have
Spring
that much confidence in your abilities?
Yeah, he will do anything if it helps the sport. So yes, I absolutely believe that. And I think he should wear a NASA themed one in honor of his parents. Which one of his parents was an astronaut? His mom or his dad? Or a NASA scientist?
NASA themed prom dress?
Yes.
What does a NASA themed prom dress look like?
It's like puffy sleeves and then it has a rocket on the back.
Okay.
And like there's a pattern, a NASA letters in that weird NASA font that's like aliens. Clearly they were trying to say aliens with the NASA font, right? They were hinting to us from the beginning. That's the pattern. You have to give it to some designer. You know, geometrics. That's your department. Yeah. It's Sherwood C. Spring was an Army colonel and former NSA astronaut. Thank you so much.
NASA astronaut, not National Security Administration astronaut.
You guys, I did go to Pilion last night, and I may have had Sour Patch Kids. And
Don't give Jessica the idea for Astronaut Spies, the gay television show.
We already have a gay television show. Gay NASA television show. We have that HBO one that's so good, and it's about an alternate future where the U.S. are the first to that Russia are the first to the moon with women, and it advances Apple TV. Sorry, I can't remember what it's called, but it's so good. And there's we have a gay president, woman. I mean, obviously there's been a gay president before, but we got a female gay president. Okay. Anyway, let's stay focused. I'm going to call Justin after this.
Astronaut prom dress portion of the show. So
I'm going to text him right now, actually.
Do not text him right now. We have a show to record. That's going to be boring for me. And the most important thing is my attention span.
Okay, I'm ready. We need polls.
Iris says, I love all the extra commentary we get every week. From the details on whether Addison Feta really deserved that 10. It was a beautiful but not perfect vault. Even I saw that piked torso. From the art that is Nola Matthews' floor routine, I've learned so much, and every time I see a step on the landing, I'm like, that should be a deduction. Anywho, I know Jessica regularly mentions Leos she loves, but why not have a poll each week for the Leo of the week? While we all know Jessica will never vote for a white Leo, some team might surprise her. Similarly, I'd love an artist of the week. I'd probably regularly vote for Cressla Bros and or Tiana Sumana Segura, but who knows who might surprise me, especially if other gym nerds chime in and say, for example, I must rewatch Ayla's floor. Every week she puts in more personality in, and maybe she really nails it. Other ideas I'm sure folks have at least deserved 10 and at least deserved 10 and least deserved 975. Thanks for all you do. Polls, Jessica.
I love polls.
People. Participation. People like participation.
Yes. We can't. Sometimes we do informal polls on our college and cocktails, but we used to have. Should I do more social media polls? I could do that live. We also could do something where we have like a live watch along on. But then we can't concentrate or make any notes if we do a live watch along. You can't expect us to remember anything.
But we're not going to be able to talk about it afterward. We can only talk about it then, and then all the information is gone.
Yeah. Okay, but this is good. I mean, I love the idea of the polls. But people have terrible taste, though, which is what I could point out after the polls. I could be like, and they're wrong.
Yeah.
That Leo's too busy. You shouldn't be at the, what is it? The Opera of Actors? Oscars. You shouldn't be the Oscars in the front and the Jersey Shore in the back.
Opera of Actors? Is that what you tried to call?
Yes. You guys, when I have too much sugar, this is what happens in my brain.
Yeah,
when you know sugar's bad for you, and I did go to the movies and have Sour Patch Kids, so my apologies. Also, the NASA movie, gay NASA movie, The Future Has Changed Because Russia Goes First with Women to the Moon, is called For All Mankind, and it's so excellent.
It's a television show, not a movie.
It's an Apple TV show, yes. Not a movie.
Yeah.
I'm still heartbroken. It's also because Pilion...
like, there's this HBO movie, and you're like, not HBO, not a movie, thank you.
It's also because Pillion broke my heart into a million pieces. It is so beautiful and so
an
sad.
Excuse.
And it's Dursley, the Dursley kid from Harry Potter, and he's a beautiful singer, and he does such a good job. The wrestling scene, Spencer, just for the wrestling scene. Okay, I'm gonna skip this letter because we don't. So Jimmy Pratt is out right now, and we don't know why he's out right now. But head coach Dockendorf did say that he has to take care of personal stuff. So that's the answer basically to the question. Mm-hmm. And I very much appreciate when people keep other people's privacy. So, how many 10s for a perfect NQS? Oh.
Rachel says Jordan Chiles and Kaylin Chio both have 4 10.0 scores on a single event this season. Jordan with 4 10s on vault and Kaylin with 4 10s on beam. This has me thinking, how many more 10s do they each have to get, home versus away, for their NQS to be 10 on those events? Has anyone ever had an NQS of 10? Thanks for all you do. So the individual NQS is still calculated the same way as it used to be. So 6 highest scores, at least 3 have to be away. You drop the top one and average the remaining 5. So you would need 6 10s on an event, at least 3 of which are in away. So you can drop the high, and then you'd have 5 to average, and they would all be 10. The away thing is the tough one. But Dancher had an NQS of 10 on floor in 2002 when she got like 80 billion 10s.
Yeah. Back to that. Now I'm just completely stuck on the dress like Sarah.
Yeah, I know you were. I could tell from your face that you were like, Spencer is saying numbers, and I did not track this, and I'm not listening. But yes, go back to what you need to say.
So there is a wrestling meet. It's takedowns and tiaras, and it's a women's wrestling meet, and all of the refs and the coaches all dress up in that theme, and it is hilarious. It's so fun. It takes everything just down a notch of like, don't take yourself too seriously. And so, yeah, I love it, and it's great. Okay. Simone coached by Laurent. Chiles update.
Liz says, after hearing you two mention on the last podcast that Laurent is in Martinique coaching Melanie, it got me wondering about Simone. When she was asked about coming back for LA 2028, she said that Laurent has been asking. Do you think this means that she would go back with Laurent if she decided to start training again? How would that work with WCC? And speaking of comebacks, what's going on with Chiles? Do you have any information on her? Thanks so much for all you do.
It's a very interesting question. I think that if Laurent wanted to, I don't know if Laurent would move back to Texas to train her because, wanted to be, in Georgia with Cecile, but he's not there all the time. Like, he's going to do camps all over the place. And I don't think he's not like living full time in Martinique. So yeah, it'd be, I think I think her mom owns the gym, and I'm sure her mom would be like, yeah, if you want to come back and train here with Laurent, it'd be fine. And I'm sure that it would be fine with the current head coaches too. And it would probably be to their advantage, a big advantage, to have the current head coaches there help with her floor, especially, and like the artistry part and some of the code selection. Like, I think that would be really good, but it would depend. Maybe she's like, do I want to live on a tropical island for a while and train? Maybe I'll try it out. Yeah. Or does she want to train somewhere in
Simone
Chicago?
Can do what Simone wants. So we're just playing what is Simone's brain want.
Yes.
And we've decided that what Simone's brain wants is we all want her to come back, so therefore that's what she wants. Sorry, Simone, we decided for you.
Or would she do like half in Georgia and half in Chicago if her husband's still competing for the Bears of the wintry sports balls?
Her husband is still competing bars and beam for a football.
Yeah. It's really unfortunate that, I guess it's his dream and whatever, but I'm like, let's knock down the CTE years. I don't wish this for Taylor Swift and Simone to have. I know. I don't wish it for any humans either, but yeah. Yeah.
Just throwing out other ideas. A Taylor Swift, Simone Biles road trip documentary show where they have to travel around watching their husbands play football, where they just like hang out in the car and like drive cross country together. Just for anyone who wants just like great ideas. If anyone's looking for great ideas out there, there's one for you.
Yeah, that would be excellent. Did you see the
A
Obamas?
Netflix docuseries with those two? Taylor and Simone hit the road.
Ideas.
Oh my god, I would watch the crap out of that show.
Did you see that the Swifts were with the Obamas at some kind of sports ball this past weekend?
No.
Yeah, just so you know, they were all together. Seated rivalry?
Uh-oh. Gym fan Danielle says, I cannot figure out how to message on Blue Sky, but please, I must know if you've seen the guy on TikTok calling two-man luge seated rivalry. Thank you for your time in reviewing this important matter. You're welcome.
Yeah, I have.
You're welcome, Danielle.
I have. It is hilarious. I love it. It's amazing. And yes, seated rivalry. And I love that the losers have leaned into this. And
well, wasn't one of the losers last name Hollander?
Yes.
So.
And he was totally understood the assignment when he was like, you're paying attention to lose? There's a gay audience for this? Oh, there's a lot of women? Yes, let me give a full interview about it. College high five. Oh, this.
Lauren says, with NCAA gymnastics season in full swing, I'm finally getting around to asking a question I've always wondered about. What are the origins of the college high five, or perhaps more accurately, high 10 after every routine? I've always found it fascinating how, after every routine, no matter the quality, and across every school, the obligatory action when a teammate finishes is to high five everyone else. Was this always the case in NCAA gymnastics? Did one school start the trend and others followed? I'd also love to hear your thoughts on the practice in general. Do you both find it to be an endearing and sweet tradition, or something that should be maybe be reserved for an especially amazing routine from a teammate? Thanks for any insights, and I appreciate all you do.
I don't know when this started. I can't trace the origins.
I mean, high-fiving is difficult, but like calling for a 10, like 10, 10, we just say 10, 10, 10 after everyone
for
finishes
everything.
any routine. Yeah, that's more recent that it became so ubiquitous.
Yeah, it's so annoying. And also, you can give a coach a yellow card for that now.
You could.
Never gonna happen.
They won't.
Never gonna happen.
But you could. You could do this. Yeah. I mean, it's all part of trying to sell the routine to the judges, but that's what makes it kind of like, and it loses all meaning if you think every routine is a 10.
Yeah.
Then you think no routine is a 10. That's like giving the stick crown out when you didn't stick.
It's a participation trophy. That's why we're not going to call it a stick crown anymore. Now they're putting this participation trophy on her.
I did see, which gymnast was it this weekend who, it was one of those teams that have like a little kid who's out there on the floor who's like, hey.
Supposed to give you perspective on life because they have.
I don't think this had like any kind of developmental disability. I don't think this child, is that a child? Do we call them children? What are those? I think it was just a child who was there, but she was like, she did not do a great bars routine. She was kind of like, that sucked, and I'm mad at myself. And then the little kid was like, stick thing? And first she was like, no, and then she was like, oh, little kid, fine, yes, okay, great, yes, fine, I'll do it, stick thing.
Role model.
The little girl wants me to stick celebrate, so I'll stick celebrate. But it's like, yeah, you don't say 10, you don't yell high five 10 when it's not a 10, you don't do a stick crown if you didn't stick.
You know the life lesson in this moment, which is Spencer's favorite thing that I do anytime we talk about children, is that you say to the kid, I didn't earn this, so I'm not going to take the stick crown. But it
takes so long. But it really ruins the mood.
But
like everyone's having fun, and then you're like, let me teach you a life lesson. And it's like, oh, now no one's having fun anymore. Jessica ruins the vibe.
I'm shushing you. So you lean down and you say, I didn't earn this, but you are being a great teammate by encouraging me no matter how I did, so I'm going to give you the stick crown. This is how you turn it around into a life lesson positive moment. Isn't this the whole point of children? You're supposed to teach them how to be, like, make the world a better place? Why else do people have children?
Yeah.
Just so much work, all these life lessons.
Ugh. Sounds awful.
Anywho, thank you for allowing me to shush you with my fingers, Spencer. I would kill you if you did that to me, so thank you for letting me have my moment.
Some double standards happening around here.
That's right. Opportunities for comedy, gym captions.
Alyssa says, we are a captions on the TV house because of 4 kids under 6 is just loud all the time. Anyway, the Big Ten captions have been cracking us up so much. Here is just a small example of the chaos. Beat jump equals beef jump. Handspring Rudy equals hands being Rudy. Handspring equals can't spring. Sometimes. Wolf full is woeful. Candlestick mount is candlestick melt. Pack salto is pixel of. Full out dismount is pull out dismount. Best floor routine is best Florentine. Just a hop forward is just a hot chord. Popa equals whole butt. I mean, if you're wearing a college Leo with that cut,
it is whole butt.
It's a full butt.
That's so funny.
Your Chango like full Popo. Is your Chango fool. Anyway, I thought you might enjoy a giggle because of gestures wildly around the world. Thanks for all you do. P.S. Spencer, the hardest I've laughed all season was reading Did We Win when you said Mizzou's guac motto should be salsa, A+, sir. Yes, I was very proud of that because they're doing guac, which is like gratitude, unity. And I was like, salsa, shady ass losses to Southern adversaries. That's the motto for Missouri this year.
That's excellent. I love that.
Yes, I love captions. I mean, captions is one of my favorite things. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They are so entertaining. You should
My
see
baseball team is called the Dodgers, and sometimes the closed captioning translate that as dog jurors, and so that's what I call them, and that's great. The dog jurors. Why
is it? Because I always think of dodgeball. Like, are they? You're trying not to get hit by the ball. That's a different game.
They were dodging. They were playing in the street, and they were dodging trolley cars. You had to, when you were playing in the street, you had to dodge the trolley cars that were coming by. So they were
New York.
You were dodgers. So because you had to try to play baseball while dodging public transportation.
As famously as we know that Jenny from the block played street ball in the street too. Mm-hmm. That's 100% believable in heels. Okay, before big gas came in and killed all the streetcars. San Francisco still has them. Okay, win-loss seeding.
This is from Artistry is greater than or equal to D, who says, do you think the SEC would ever follow suit with the Big Ten as far as championship seeding being determined by in-conference win-loss records? I kind of think the coaches wouldn't want to, because they would be like, that one time we lost to Oklahoma makes us look bad.
Yep.
So my instinct is they wouldn't approve it.
I feel like also the SEC, the TV would dictate who. I feel like TV decides way more in that conference than the other conferences.
Well, certainly for meet format, or like you can't do an exhibition,
right? So I feel like
a strong move, good one, SEC Network.
Honestly, we approve that. So yeah,
but they might. I mean, the Big Ten did.
I mean, it is their conference; they can make the rules. They can own the broadcast rights. So yeah, I like a win. You know how I feel about win-loss. Like, what the fuck?
You're pro win-loss record.
Just compete at home if win-loss doesn't matter. Yeah.
Well, that's why you have rules that you have to drop home meets. Now,
fifth rotation journalism is important.
Anonymous says, I just want to say thank you. Living in Minnesota and seeing the ICE situation here, journalism is more important than ever. Keep speaking out. We white grandmas and many others continue to peacefully protest, record and take photos, deliver meals, etc. We need journalists to tell the stories with professionalism, whether it's about ICE or gymnastics. It is upsetting, demoralizing, unpatriotic. I need a thesaurus. To see how you are being silenced, I truly was touched by your editorial. So again, thank you.
That's fact checker. So applause for fact checker. He writes those, and they're excellent.
If we want to do NCAA news,
yes, we should do NCAA.
Get to that.
Yes.
Okay.
And now it's time for NCAA news. May I humbly begin. NCAA news. Okay.
I guess.
You correct me. But
all right.
Oregon, or all I want to talk about is Oregon State versus Stanford because it was insane. And
I know.
Stanford,
and I was saying on College and Cocktails, I was like, oh, I was gonna live blog Oregon State Stanford, but I got too tired. But I did have it on, and then I was just like, what?
Yes, and then I get texts with gifs. Like, this meet is nuts. So Stanford, historic, only the second time they've ever gotten a 198 plus score. They got a 198-1. Also, this high score ranks them third in the nation. Tied
in terms
by
of
high
like,
score.
By high
score, not NQS or average or any of that nonsense. Only highest score, which is all that matters, which is your deepest dreams come true. And they'd be tied with UCLA in third. So will we see the Final Four be Oklahoma, LSU, UCLA, and Stanford? We get another floor victims repeat meet. Also, they had the back-to-back perfect scores on vault from, Anna Roberts is the 2024 NCAA vault champion.
I do know that information, yes.
Anna Roberts and Yui Soma. Anna Roberts, 10. Greg Marston put up a great quote. There are 10s and then there are perfect 10s. Anna Roberts was a perfect 10. There are absolutely no deductions in that vault. Compare it to anyone else's 10. I dare you. It was absolutely perfect in every way. And especially look at her hips. So many people have piked hips and they're not taken. Perfect. Fight me. Meet you in the alley. Anything else you want to say about that meet?
A lot of threats happening here. Yeah, so there were 3 perfect vault scores of the 12 in that meet because Uisoma got a perfect 995 and Esposito for Oregon State got a perfect 995 in the rotation beforehand. Overall thoughts on those? This was the weekend of the Yurchenko full. Like, so Yurchenko full supremacy was back this week.
Yeah. From the angle that I saw them at, like I didn't have a problem with them.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, and by that I mean I did not see a deduction, but Anna Roberts was absolutely spectacular. And Esposito also from Oregon State, we've talked about her for many years, also a perfect 995. Like it was just back and forth. And then their bar rotation was nuts too.
So do you feel like, I'm putting you on the spot now.
I'm ready.
Because based on your tone, I feel like you think Stanford's 198 was more legit than other 198s we've seen from the likes of Oklahoma, LSU, UCLA this year.
Yes.
You think it was more? Do you think that's more likely to hold up in the postseason?
Yes, I do, actually, because the built-in deductions are not there with many of their best gymnasts, like a Levi Yonga-Rivavar and Anna Levi on bars and her dance on floor, and Anna Barbosa on everything, and Anna Roberts on everything.
Anna Roberts got a 39.875 all-around score, which is a Stanford record.
Yeah.
So
which is nuts.
39.825 was the record before. That was Evie, Lindsay Wing, Larissa Fontaine, and Natalie Foley. They had all gotten 39.825. So Anna Roberts' 39.875 is the record.
Yeah. It's huge. And I feel like looking at her gymnastics, this is the thing. I'm always just like, if Stanford was on big TV as much as the big SEC teams, they would have better scores regularly and people would see how freaking great they are. But like, they are absolutely capable. So yeah, this is my new Final Four.
This is your new mission. My caveat to that is that they don't have as many 10-0 start values on vault. I think they're a little underpowered. And so to get that big vault score where they are relying on, Uisoma to stick her full, Summer Gronsky to stick her full, which talk about coming from where she was when we talked about Summer Gronsky missing her block entirely and just vaulting with no hands off for a zero, maybe, but I guess not. To like sticking Yurchenko full and looking really good. I think she got like 9.925. I think they're relying on both the landings have to be, you don't have any wiggle room. Like the landings have to be perfect and the judges have to be willing to go there for Yurchenko full and not say like, that's a pretty good Yurchenko full in the leadoff position, 9.85. I'm going to save my scores for the 1.5s. I feel like Stanford's vault and like if you compare side by side at nationals, I don't know if Stanford's vault and floor is going to stack up, but I do agree that if you were to impose a more strict evaluation standard to college gymnastics that we currently have, Stanford has the form to stand up to that better than the other teams. Which to your point about it being more real, I think that if you were to like have like, okay, we're actually going to deduct for bent elbows on your back handsprings on beam kind of thing that like probably everyone's ignoring, Stanford holds up better than most teams to a stricter code that isn't real.
Yep.
So that's it. The hope is that level of gymnastics gets rewarded.
And I mean, the other thing I think about with this is that level of gymnastics in vault specifically, like talking about if Stanford sticks every vault, which is very hard to do in a whole rotation, but freaking Oklahoma's done it, so it's possible. Arkansas, if Arkansas sticks, they are such a threat on vaults. They have such great vaults. Okay, the 10 update.
Sky Blakely beam, Kaylin Chio beam twice. A Friday and a casual Friday and Sunday beam 10s. Yeah, and Anna Roberts on vault. So at 4 more, we're up to 20 total to the season. And I think so. Your answer is what was the 10iest 10? You're saying Anna Roberts vault?
100% period.
More so than Kaylin Chio's beam.
Yes.
Okay.
I know. I will meet you in the alley to fight if you want to.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Roberts.
I don't have an issue with either. Those are not the scores I'm upset about.
And that's the same thing.
In general,
I'm not upset.
With the 10s. Like, I mean, I think the least 10-10 we've seen this season was when Jordan Chiles got a 10 for the Yurchenko double full. And even that, I'm like, I get it.
Yeah. Is that the best double Yurchenko double full you're going to see? Probably. Like,
in
there's
college,
yeah, there's a couple that are also good, but not as good as that one.
Mean, like to use your meet me in the alley, like Mo Hilan might meet you in the alley if you're going to say that's the best Yurchenko double full. But in college right now, yeah.
Yeah. How is the 10 race rankings going?
What are 10 race rankings?
We didn't have no one got the Gym Slam. Everyone's still stagnant on Gym Slam. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and Selena Harris didn't even compete floor. My fantasy team does not thank Jenny for that.
So sorry.
So she couldn't have. Kaylin Chio still needs bars. Jordan Chiles still needs beam.
And we had a little shakeup in the number one spot.
So this is what we need to talk about, because most of the rankings were kind of stagnant. There's not a lot to say, but all around ranking shakeup, Kaylin Chio is now number 1 in the country in the all around. Jordan Chiles drops to number 2. So I want your take. Like, if this, maybe this needs to be like a whole pre-NCAA Nationals preview where we do one of those like sports broadcast things where they have like check marks in different categories of Kaylin Chio versus Jordan Chiles, who's going to win the all-around at Nationals.
Yeah. I feel like Chio. But Anna Roberts could do it too. When it's head-to-head, Anna Roberts has always been...
She has all the tools necessary, yeah. I think Chio's routines are more... duplicatable.
Yeah.
Duplicarific. And Kaylin Chio's routines are more reduplerific. Like, she does it more the same she does more often. It's exactly the same every time. Like those 2 beam routines we saw Friday and Sunday. I'm like, you could show me the same video twice or both of those videos separately, and I would be like, probably the same routine.
Yeah.
You could definitely trick me with that. So I think she has that going. I think where Jordan Chiles has the strengths, if you're doing check marks in different categories head to head, are things that are not necessarily valued either intentionally or unintentionally in college gymnastics. Like the 2 areas, I'm like, Jordan Chiles has difficulty over Kaylin Chio. But if you're both starting from a 10, that's not part of college gymnastics. Mm-hmm. That's not evaluated or shouldn't be rewarded. Jordan Chiles has performance quality, artistry. She has that check mark, certainly. But do we really think that top NCAA teams are getting any artistry deductions from anyone in the lineup? I kind of don't think so. I don't
When they're
think
head to
they're.
head, they should. And like Chio has it because she comes from gym cats and that's what they're known for. But like it's
I mean,
sort of gone down since she's been at LSU.
if you're
Is
putting
what
those
happens.
two floor routines side by side and saying who sells this better, who's the better performer, it's Jordan Chiles.
Jordan, 100%. Like 100%. And that's the thing where there should be a distinction, which we need an operation, just a button. Boop. An operation, like an old school DOS operation. What's it called now? Coding. And you just go boop, artistry plus.
I
But I
thought you
feel
were talking about Operation like the board game where you had to put the tweezers in and then it would go boop if you hit
You
the
had to
side.
take the
That's what I thought you
bones
were
out?
artistry, like you're trying to you tried to not enough artistry. The nose
feel like
glows.
floor and bars go to Jordan and beam and vault go to Chio.
Agreed.
If we're comparing. And that's where
Yeah.
Jordan is the most consistent. And Chio's consistent everywhere though. So that's the thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Yeah. Our other change, all around standings, Anna Roberts moved into the top 5 in the all around, obviously. On bars, Azarea Akbar moved up to second behind Chloe LaCourcier, so Alabama's 1-2. And then it's Chloe Chocho, Tanya Paulson, obviously, Kayla DiCello. Yeah. Kayla DiCello, bars is definitely her best college event. That's my favorite one to watch her on. She's following the Grace McCallum model, where I'm just like, I don't have deductions in your college bars routine. I can't find them.
Yeah. Teams, interesting.
Yeah, so only one change in the top 15. Cal moved into the top 15, Penn State to 16, Auburn dropped to 17th, so out of the seeded spot for regionals right now. So that was the significant change there. We thought midway through when we left College and Cocktails on Friday that Florida was about to score like a 199 because we had seen what happened on bars and beam. We hadn't taken account that, it's all fun and games until Florida goes to vault, I guess, apparently this season. So it ended up being only like a 197.7. It wasn't even a 199. But yeah, this is the new normal of the new NQS is kind of stagnant rankings because you're taking so many more routines into account. So we're not seeing the team rankings change that much.
Individuals. Chio is number 1 on vault and beam, and now all around over Chiles. Bars, LaCourcier, and Jordan on floor. Force, which is as it should be. Okay. Also, you know what I really want for American Cup this weekend? I really want Kenzo to show up and he can compete all the women's and men's events and single-handedly win for Japan.
Yes.
Bring back Kenzo is really my deepest dream. So
I feel like we've had that. I feel like we've already had that conversation multiple times about American Cup.
We need to have it every year.
Yeah, every week.
We can never get enough of Kenzo.
We just have a portion of the podcast where we just talk about Kenzo for a while. Yeah.
So we'll see you guys after the Stanford UCLA's meeting at Stanford. It's going to be on streaming ESPN on the ACC network. So we'll see you later this week for the fantasy podcast where we tell you who to draft and who not to draft. Until then, remember to take off on gay, split on rights, and we will see you on College and Cocktails from Vegas.